Reports tonight that Russia launched an all-out effort to win access to Hillary Clinton while she was Secretary of State. The Hill reporting that federal agents observed a Russian spy posing as an accountant move closer to Clinton's inner circle before the spy was arrested and deported around 2010. Other efforts in plain view, such as when a Kremlin-linked bank paid Bill Clinton $500,000 for a single speech, just about double his going rate at that time. Joining us tonight is Congressman Jim Jordan. He serves on both the Judiciary and the Oversight Committee. He's also a member of the House Freedom Caucus. Congressman, great to have you with us.
Good to be with you.
We learned from your colleague, Congressman DeSantis, that House Oversight has begun an investigation into these matters, Russian bribery, efforts to exploit Hillary Clinton.
Yeah.
It was an unheralded beginning to an investigation. Is the investigation actually underway?
I think you're going to see real movement in both the Oversight and Judiciary Committees as we move forward. This is definitely something we need to investigate. But also, Lou, never forget, the Judiciary Committee Republicans sent to the Justice Department 3 months ago now a letter saying, let's have a special counsel to look into this Uranium One issue, to Clinton, to Comey, to Lynch, all the things that took place. We sent that 3 months ago, and yet no response from the Justice Department. And when we met with people from the Justice Department, I asked them just a few weeks ago, when will you respond to that? Have you made a decision? And if not, when will you make a decision? And their answer was, we don't know, and we don't know. So that's what we're getting from the Justice Department. And this is a Republican Justice Department. So let's start giving us some answers to some pretty important questions. And let's look at this special counsel issue.
You know, I think you're certainly right. This is a Republican Justice Department, but it is peopled by those who fly other flags. I mean, whether we're talking about Rosenstein, whether we're talking about the special counsel himself, Robert Mueller, Andrew McCabe, the number 2.
Yep.
I mean, the list goes on. And we can't even get a response from a Republican Attorney General to a Republican House Oversight Committee? Chair?
Right. They won't give us a response, and yet when I asked them the question, when will you make a decision to give us one, they said, I don't know, which is a response in and of itself. So that is the problem. And when you think about 2016, I always come back to this. Think about some of the things that happened in we got this whole investigation into possible Russian influence, but we know the Obama Justice Department tried to influence the election because remember, Loretta Lynch told James Comey, call the Clinton investigation a matter, not an investigation, and he did it. Loretta Lynch, one day before the Benghazi report comes out, 3 days before Secretary Clinton's scheduled to be interviewed, meets with Bill Clinton on the tarmac in Phoenix. And when it's discovered that she had that meeting and she's corresponding with Justice Department public relations people, in the email, she doesn't use her real name. She uses the name Elizabeth Carlisle. Now, again, if you're just talking golf and grandkids, you probably can use your real name. You probably don't need to use a fake name. So these are the kind of questions that need exploration, need to be looked into, because the Obama Justice Department was certainly trying to influence the election in 2016, and yet all the focus is on possible Russian influence in the electoral process. It's ridiculous. So let's get some investigations moving.
Is it a fair statement to say that even the Trump Justice Department is still peopled principally at the top by Obama holdovers, and that it is an extraordinarily difficult task for Attorney General Sessions to execute Trump policy?
Yes, and yes again. I mean, that is exactly what's happened. And just by the fact we asked the question, we know what the answer is to it. That's what's going on there, and that is a problem. That's not getting to the... I say this all the time. There are lots of things that make Americans mad, but a couple in particular. And one of those is when they perceive there's a double standard. When they perceive there is one set of rules for you and I and regular people, but a different set if you're part of the politically connected class like Clinton and Comey and Lynch and all this in the Clinton Foundation. That drives Americans, and appropriately so, drives them crazy. So all that means we should be focused on getting these investigations moving and getting to the truth.
The uranium that was transferred to the Russians. Why would the United States government, CFIUS or any other entity, but CFIUS itself, which is charged specifically with protecting American assets and precious assets, why would they sell uranium for any price?
That's the question, and that's why we need to investigate, as Congressman DeSantis has pointed out, why we need to move forward and figure out what went on here. But one of the answers that sort of pops in your mind that may be a possibility is because there was pressure from people high in our government at the State Department, like the Secretary. Maybe that's what took place. We don't know that. All the more reason why we need to investigate and figure it out.
You know, I was just sitting and I've got two images stuck in my mind here tonight on this issue. One is President Bill Clinton at Vladimir Putin's private Dachau in Moscow, having a discussion about all of the things that he wanted to talk with, a list of 15 Russians that he was told very gently and suggested that he not. And we also have President Obama leaning over to Medvedev and tell Vladimir I can be more flexible after the election.
After the election, right.
That is more a priori evidence of collusion, those two images, than anything that Donald Trump or anyone who works for him committed.
No, well said. And yet, like you say, we got this whole Mueller special counsel looking into it, and yet we can't even get an answer from our Justice Department, from members of the House Republican members on the House Judiciary Committee. We can't even get an answer to the letter we sent 3 months ago asking for a special counsel to look into the very things you've highlighted on your show. That's the problem. So let's get an answer for that. But more importantly, let's start this is the Judiciary Committee.